Okay, Prabs, it's 12:31. Bring them in. We'll talk to them.
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you today. We're just, waiting for more people to just join. Actually, Akshay and we were just talking about something interesting that, Akshay is going to talk to you all about, but something that I also don't have. And we were just talking about how to make trading easier and buy international stocks, something that I don't do. So anyway, we were just talking about that. So we'll just start in a minute.
It's something that you will do. Now that
I haven't done, but I will do. Yes, actually.
Yeah.
No, something I wanted to do. Let's also say that. But I've always thought, oh, okay, but seems complex. But anyway.
It's good to see some familiar names back. Welcome back, Sriram, Rajesh. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Good to see all of you.
I've actually seen Anirudh as well a couple of times.
We can start.
Yeah, let's get started. So thank you everyone for joining. As you may have seen, with the multiple messages that we did, this one was a very sort of focused one around understanding the power of AI, but at the same time, really, get you to ask your questions about InvestorAi, the app. And as simple or as complex or anything that you also have realized while using it, easy hacks, we'd love to know that. And I'm going to get Akshay in very soon, but we'll keep the chat on. That's where we will take all our questions. We've got a few questions that have come in when the Zoom registration happened. So we have those as well, if just in case if you want to cover those. But we'd love to hear from all of you here today on any questions while you're using the app. So Akshay, over to you. To just tell us and get into more details about the app, really.
Yeah. Thank you, Shruti. So today's session, guys. Firstly, welcome everyone. Really happy to be back here. With a break for Dussehra, and I suppose there'll be upcoming break on Diwali weekend as well. But really glad to be getting back into the rhythm. Today's session is really a slightly different one. Normally what I do, I go through some slides and I sort of show the app a little bit and then I answer some questions. I think today I want to do it a little differently. I will have some slides because I do want to talk about a few things in a structured manner. But after that, I'm not going to show the app. I'm just going to open it up to questions. The whole idea about InvestorAi Cafe is that if you have a question, you come and ask. And you're there for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then after that. So I'm in a sense, I'm glad there are sort of the limited number of people here because hopefully you'll get a lot more time. You'll also see a participant called InvestorAi who looks very like an electronic QR code. That is a code you can scan and download anytime. Scan and use anytime. But before I start, Prabal, can I ask you to put up a questionnaire? How many people are users of InvestorAi and how many are not? I think that'd be useful information for me. So just click if you're an existing user. Okay, so most people are existing users. There are 4 or 5 people who are not. Thank you, Prabal. We can take this off. So I hope you'll get a good sense of what we are talking about. So as before, I'm going to share my screen and just run through a few very high-level slides. I think they're important to set the context because, and of course, you've all heard me talk about it all the time. So we are talking about investing with AI, using AI as a tool, as a ability to help you invest better. You heard me talk about how I identify good stocks. I look for good fundamentals. I look for my own good understanding, and I look for a good timing. And when they come together, that is the zone, that I look for. That all these three things must intersect. But the eternal problem is, what is a good stock? And it's not very easy for people to understand. Some people like growth stocks. Some people like stable stocks. Some people want high dividends. Some people want good leadership. Some people want good ESG score. There are many, many factors, and there's no single factor that says that this is a good stock. And this is where I think AI can be incredibly, incredibly useful. Because on your own, you cannot look at every company every day. Not humanly possible, even if you do nothing else all day. You cannot look at 4,500 stocks in 18 markets. You cannot take 600 pieces of data for every stock and perform 800 million calculations every day in order to spot breakout patterns. And that is what AI does for you. It identifies potential breakout ideas with the highest possible levels of accuracy. Now, so clearly there is a role for the machine in terms of the investment journey that people have. And if you use the machine intelligently, it can be very, very useful. And I speak with personal experience. This is my formula. And this is the formula for me, U plus AI to raise to the power of T represents an absolute superpower. So U is U, which is very clear. AI is the machine. T is the power of time. And I will talk about that in a moment. And if you combine this together in an intelligent and a thoughtful way, it is very, very impactful. So you are the most critical factor. There is no substitute for your own knowledge and judgment. And it's people say, but the machine told me to do this. I think, what are you, an idiot? Thoda soch ke karo hai. You have to, if even the machine is not always right. It will tell you what it tells you. And sometimes it can be wrong. And you have to use your own knowledge and judgment. And if you don't have the knowledge and judgment, and if you don't have the understanding of any particular company or any particular stock, please do not buy. Don't do anything. That is also a very valid investment action, not to do anything. But the fact is, you will only learn by doing. The more you do, the more you learn. And I will tell you, your mistakes will teach you more than your successes. So it's worth keeping in mind. You are the most important factor. AI is an amazing, amazing tool, but only if you know how to use it. And purpose of these sessions is really explaining to you how to use it, the AI that we have created. There are many forms of AI. I think InvestorAi in many ways is a very unique product, very different, but you have to understand it. On the surface, you can say, I get ideas from StockEdge, I get ideas from Money Control, I get ideas from InvestorAi. There is no difference. No, there is a big difference. But you have to understand how it works. Here is the power of time, which I'm now beginning to call the generous grandfather effect. So let us assume that 40 years ago, your grandfather invested 1 lakh for you in the stock market. Your grandfather's gift today will be worth 5.3 crores today. Okay, let us say he did this when you're 20 years old. When you were 20 years old. So today you would be 60 after 40 years. You would have a corpus of 5.3 crores in your grandfather's gift. Forget your life savings and other investments and other gains. Why? Because the Sensex itself has grown 17% over 40 years on average growth. Okay, so Indian market has been on a continuous bull run because the economy has been growing and we have been becoming more successful. And the prospects for the Indian economy are very strong. So I don't know if it's 17%, but certainly it will grow over the longer term. But it happens over time. And the compounding effect of returns is even more important than the returns themselves. Just bear that in mind. We have 2 products in the market today. There will be more coming. And the way I think about them, if you have the time and you have the expertise, then InvestorAi is probably the best product for you. If you have the time and you don't have so much expertise, you know something but not so much, then our FTM portfolios are a great idea for you. If you have the expertise but don't have the time, we are coming up with some very interesting products very, very soon. And if you don't have the time and don't have the expertise, please don't use any of our products. Okay? Then you should go to an advisor and say, here is my money, I'm giving you, and I will be willing to pay you 1% for your efforts, but please invest it for me. And they will then do that for you. So we are, as InvestorAi, we are strictly in the non-advisory world. We never give you advice. We never intend to give you any advice. And that is how we have set the whole thing up. And you will see that. So with that, I want to give you a couple of updates, and then I'm going to stop. So this is really a very short kind of spell, and how long we continue, it really depends on the kind of questions you have and all the queries that you want to sort of satisfy. So one very, very interesting piece of news is on FTM portfolios. Some of you are investors, some of you are not. If you are not, I would encourage you to look at it. Our FTM momentum portfolio has been ranked number 8 on the basis of performance within the small case universe of 298 portfolios. So if you know what I'm talking about, then you will know exactly what it means. But if you don't, let me take a minute to explain. What is an FTM portfolio? FTM stands for follow the machine. So all InvestorAi insights are created by the machine and presented to you on the app. In FTM, what we do, we take some of those best ideas and we create very simple portfolios of 10 to 15 stocks. And we allow you to copy those portfolios once you subscribe. These portfolios are hosted on a site called Small Case, which hosts many portfolios. So tomorrow, if you are an individual portfolio manager, you have some experience, you can create your own portfolio and you can put it on Small Case. What will happen is it will be visible to everyone who goes to that site, and 1.5 million people go to that site, our members. They will be able to see the portfolios, they will be able to buy the portfolios with one click, and frequently you'll get a notification that the portfolio has been rebalanced. Then you can go in, but with one click you can rebalance your portfolio. So that is the functionality. Now, in the small case universe site, there are 298 analysts who have posted their portfolios. So you can invest in any one of them. And they publish a ranking every 6 months. So previously we were not ranked because we were less than 6 months old. But now that we are 6 months old, we have been ranked number 8. So now just think about it. This is the 98th percentile. So what this is really saying is that the machine has beaten 97% of human portfolio managers. This is a very proud moment for us because we are a small company, and it is very gratifying for us to see that our portfolios have done well, and therefore our customers will also do well. But more importantly, if you forget about us as a company or the product, I think this is very similar to the IBM Big Blue versus Gary Kasparov moment, when the Big Blue machine beat Gary Kasparov in chess. Okay, and that was the start of IBM Watson. Because then IBM got the confidence to go and put more money in the development of that AI to make it super powerful, and that is today being sold in the market as IBM Watson. I think this is a Gary Kasparov moment for investments. And we hope that it will lead to many great things. Now, this is, of course, very limited universe, only 6 months of data. So you could easily argue that, is it a flash in the pan? We don't know if it's going to continue? How do you know AI can sustain this? Well, we don't. Okay, and time will tell. But at least for 6 months, we have beaten 97%. And I think that's not a small achievement, and that it should not be sort of dismissed away. The other thing I want to do is to give you an update on a few things that are coming. We are very, very excited about it. So the first thing that is coming is we are going to give you the ability to buy stocks in the US market directly from InvestorAi. Okay, this is huge, guys. And this is going to be available in the version of the app that is going to be released in the next 1 or 2 days. Okay, now you can't just, of course, you can't immediately buy. You have to firstly be subscribed to the global plan. Otherwise, you won't even see any US insights. But even that is going to be changed very soon. You will have access to US markets. But once you do that, all you have to do is to open a brokerage account directly with the brokerage company that we have tied up with, that we have integrated InvestorAi with. It's a company called Alpaca, 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 like the animal. It's actually named after the animal. And it is very, very easy to open an account. They will do your KYC, AML, etc. And once you open the account, then of course you have to transfer money in it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And you can transfer anything because the LRS limit is $250,000. So you can put $5,000, whatever you want. So the test account is my own account. I opened an account with Alpaca. It took me 10 minutes, and I just put $1,000 in it. The beauty is that you can do fractional trading, and all trades are zero cost. That is why we chose Alpaca. It is free. It is absolutely free to trade. There is no cost. And I have verified it myself by trading in my own account with Alpaca, which I will be able to show you when we do a webinar to explain this. And the beauty is you can buy fractional shares. So take Google, for instance. It's $2,700 per share. I can say I want to buy $100 of Google, and it will buy 1/27th of Google and put it in my account. So you can actually build a very nice portfolio of Google, Apple, Facebook, Tesla, etc. for $500. So, it's a very, very interesting capability, and I hope, all of you will find it very interesting and very useful. The second thing that's coming, and these are all within the next month, okay, so not very far away. We are adding a portfolio module because a lot of people have asked us for this, where you will be able to input multiple portfolios into InvestorAi. Because some people have, I, for instance, have 3 portfolios. One is my trading portfolio, one is my long-term portfolio, one is some other portfolio. And I want to be able to see them as 3 portfolios and as together in InvestorAi. And then, so we are adding this module. You will be able to input your own portfolio and your own holding cost into InvestorAi. The nice thing is that even if a stock is not covered, you can, if it's a privately listed stock, private stock, unlisted, you can input that. You can input your bond holdings, you can input your mutual fund holdings, you can input a lot of things. You can put real estate if you want. So what we are trying to do is to give you one place where you can track all your assets. Of course, the automatic pricing will only work where we have equities, but for other things, you can input your price. So anyway, and the last and the small thing that we are putting in place is that for every stock now you'll be able to see company logos, and there will be a business description. So if you see a company called Diamondback Energy, what does it do? So you can click on the button, and it will show you what the company does. It will describe. So these company descriptions are really powerful and very interesting because many times we don't really know what the company does. Anyway, so that's all. That's what I had just now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay, Akshay. These updates were very interesting.
I'm going to open it up to questions.
Yeah, Akshay. No, these updates obviously sound very interesting. I know a lot of people have always asked us for portfolios, to upload their portfolios. I think that one is, existing, users who are already using Investor AI, I think are going to be extremely happy about that. So Akshay, I think everyone's warming up and the questions are just slowly coming in. We've just got one right now, other than Rajesh telling us we are fabulous products. So thank you, Rajesh. I'm going to start with Samantha. I'm going to come to your question as the second one. But before that, Akshay, one very frequently asked question, and it's also come to us, on the Zoom webinar questions, is if we could just show them and explain to them what does the signal on Alpha 330, how are they supposed to read it? Yeah. I think that one is a very common one when somebody just, gets into our app. That's one. And Pankaj, thank you. I see your question. I'm going to take that as well after Samantha's.
Yeah. So let me talk a little bit about it, and let me go to InvestorAi so that you can actually see it. And so what happens, let me explain how the technology works. The way the technology works within InvestorAi, we like I told you, we get a ton of data every day, and we do millions and millions of calculations. For those of you who are technically minded, what we do, we identify the breakout. So the way we trained our technology is to look for breakout signals. And when we see a breakout signal, we look at all the analytics that surround it. What was the price earnings ratio? What was the debt coverage ratio? What was the market doing? What was analyst coverage? What was peer group ranking, and all the rest of it. And then we convert those analytics into grayscale images, pictures. Okay, that is how we train the system to identify breakout patterns. When we get the daily data, we do all the same analytics, and we convert those analytics into pictures. Once we do that, then we get the two sets of pictures. We do image matching, very much like facial recognition. Okay, the advantage with image matching is that it's very fast. And secondly, the more images it sees, the better the system gets. Okay, so it's a self-learning kind of a system. It's like facial recognition. If you teach the system to recognize brown faces, the more brown faces it sees, the better it will get to identifying a brown face. That's all it is. It's very robust technology, very well proven. No one has used it in investments. And that is what it happens. And once the image matching takes place, literally in seconds, we identify potential breakout patterns. And then we do some more analysis, and then we look at the highest probability breakout images, and then we call them signals. Okay, and then we decide what we want to show and what we should not show. So signal management is actually a big activity for us. Do we show the signal at this time? Should it be below 20th percentile? Or when do we stop showing the signal, etc., etc. So your question was on Alpha 330. So let me go to Alpha 330. Actually, before I do that, for those of you who are new to the app, preferences is a very important section, and you have to first choose your markets. I'm going to switch on India, and I'm going to switch off UK and US. Very easy to do, as you can see. Really very simple. You then have to choose your sectors. I have chosen only 5 or 6 sectors. I can just easily switch on industrials, healthcare, and so on. Okay, so now I've done, let me go back to Ideas Corner. This is the light bulb at the bottom. If I go to Ideas Corner, then I can look at all my algorithms. I can look at Alpha 330. And again, Alpha 330 has many signals. So all I have to do, keep pressing more. And in my sector, there are a whole bunch of them. Okay, the blue tiles means that the signal is high, and the white tiles means that the signal is low. When I say the signal is high or low, I'm referring to the probability. So what does Alpha 330 do? It looks for the probability of the stock to deliver a 3% return to you in 30 days. When the probability is high, we shade it as blue. When the probability is low, we shade it as white. Now, you can ask me, why are you showing me if the probability is low? The reason we are showing it to you is because on the day the signal is generated, it is always high. Otherwise, we would never show it to you. Once we show it to you, we keep it open for 30 days because alpha 330, we have to open it, keep it open for 30 days. Otherwise, we are not able to assess the quality of this thing. So any signal that comes in on day one will be open for 30 days. Within the 30 days, the probability will move up and down. So whenever the probability is high, you will see it as blue. Whenever the probability is low, you'll see it as white. Now, let us go to this company, AIA Engineering Limited, currently trading at 1,937 rupees. And the signal is high. Okay, now, this is telling me that signal came up on the 22nd of October. So this is yesterday, obviously no returns. And it has 30 days remaining. And the current signal status is high or active. Now, you can see in the past how has there been a signal. So there have been 3 signals in the last 12 months, and the last 2 instances are shown below. And this is how the signal strength has moved in the last 30 days. So you can see a small shaded box. Once the signal line goes above the shaded box, then it's a high probability. Anything below that is a low probability. Now, it is quite possible that 2 days from now, AIA Engineering may not be a high probability signal. That is what signal strength means. Now, you can form, like I said, your interpretation of this company is very important. If you don't know much about the company, there is a live info button at the bottom. You can click on that. That takes you to Google Finance, and you can look at their financial ratios, etc. You can read about news you can read a money control article. You can read other financial details and other news on this particular company. So you can supplement your own research. Okay. Now let me pick. Then you can sort the signals in any way. Let me sort it by returns, and if I then go here, let me show. Let's take the first one, which is a company called Tanla Platforms, and here the signal is now low. But this signal was created on 30th of September. We'll, of course, keep it open till 30th of October. It's got 8 more days to go. But this stock has already returned 21.9%. Now, we said 30 days or 22 days ago that the stock would go up. It did go up. And because it has now gone up, the probability of it going up further is low. And that's why the signal is low. Now, what does this mean? If the signal is active or high, then it is probably a good time to buy. Now, this stock, I would say, unless you believe it is going to go up further, the machine doesn't think so. But if you could have an opposite view that I know Tanla Platforms, a great company, it is going to keep going up, I want to buy. Okay, so you can buy. So you may still want to buy it. Or if you bought it on the day on 30th of September when the signal came, this would be a good time to sell as well. You've already made 22%. Why not? Or you could say it's a good company. I'm not sure I want to buy now. I'm going to wait for it to dip again. And can you please monitor it for me? So there is a monitor button at the bottom. If you click on monitor, it will then allow you to monitor this stock. You can set your own loss limit. You can set your own profit alert limit. And you can say monitor now. And now it will appear on your actively monitored stock. So the machine will then monitor it for you. Okay. So with that, I'm going to stop and take the
Akshay, just a continuation of this one. And yes, we've got a lot of questions that have come in. So I'm going to move a little fast. So thank you, everyone. Really good questions. So Akshay, there's a continuation on the signal one. So Bruguraj asks us, does the signal have significance closest to inception of the signal? So he wants to know, like, most profitable. If so, is there a way to identify the freshest signal?
Sorry, just repeat your question, Shruti.
So he wants to know, does the signal have any significance closest to the inception of the signal? So for example, the most profitable signal. And he also says, if so, is there a way to identify the freshest signal?
Yeah, there is. Let me go back to Alpha 330. So it's a good question. Let me take a step back. What are we actually doing here? The machine every day looks at every stock. Okay, it does its analytics, does its image matching, it does its breakout patterns, and then it says today there are 15 signals. Okay, and we will then publish those 15 signals after we do our quality control, which is also automated, by the way. Then you will see a new signal. New signals by definition will be blue, because if the signal is not high, why would we ever show it to you? Now, let us go back to AI engineering. So the freshness of the signal is very important, because on the day it is generated, the likelihood of the stock going up is the highest, because that is what the machine has spotted. Now, not every stock will go up, so please bear that in mind. But the likelihood is the strongest. And the number of signals you get will depend on your selection. So if I go back and I go to preferences and I select sectors, let me, just for playing around with it, switch on every single sector. Okay, and again, it is dead easy to do. It doesn't take just a few seconds. So now I've activated every single sector. Now if I go back to Alpha 330, now I can see there are 4 signals that are active, and I can always look at more, and I can keep, there are lots of signals in the system, but currently only 4 are active. Now, this does not mean that other signals are useless. It is just that today they are not active. Okay, so let me sort out signals by latest. So the moment you can filter or you can sort. If you can say, show me only active signals and show me the latest. Okay, then you are going to see only the blue signals and the latest ones. So now let us see what it shows. Now it is showing me only 5 signals. So you can control what you see. So let me take this one, Sharda Cropchem, Limited. This signal came up on the 4th of October, which is 18 days ago, and it has got 12 more days to go. The signal is active. Since the signal was generated, this signal has lost money. So if I had bought it on 4th of October, I would not have done well. Okay, but it is now showing an uptrend again. So if I know the company and I like the industry and I like the company, it could be, as you can see in the signal strength pattern, there was a little peak about 1/3 of the way in the chart. That is when the signal was generated. Then it went down. And now it has come back again, and it is telling me that there is a good chance that I could make 3% if I buy it today. So that is how you can control what you see. Most of them, let me go to this one, consumables, heritage foods. This is again a signal from yesterday, so obviously there is no return on it. So, and I can again change my filters. I said, show me the latest, but show me all the signals, but in order of time when they came. And now I'm seeing a whole range of signals, but in the order of time in which they were created. Okay, so that is how you can do this.
So Akshay, you've actually answered Pankaj's question. They were both, on could you pick up a specific stock and show me what, how to read the signal, and also just in general about the signal. But Samantha, who, she's been one of our subscribers for a very long time, has a question, and a good one. So Samantha says, I bought shares of Centex when the signal was high, but suddenly the signal became low. My question is, we are already invested. How can we get out the moment the signal becomes low? In this case, we will only be out with losses all the time if we have to get out only when the signal is low. So is there a way for, I think the question is there a way to know what that moment is when one needs to get out?
So, Samantha, you're raising a very important point. And I will answer your specific question first, then I will come to the general point that you're raising. So, just because a signal is low is not necessarily a signal to sell. It is not a sell. See, currently we don't give you sell signals or sell things. Because the signal is low, it is probably better to think of this as not to buy. This is not a time to buy because the signal is low. But the converse does not hold true, that it is a time to sell. And like I said, not every signal will always go up. So this particular Alpha 330 works at about 70% accuracy. So of the 10 ideas you buy, chances are 7 will make money, 3% at least, but 3 will not make money. So, you have to be aware of that. And that is why I keep saying that, buy companies you like. And, then your holding power is a little, if you don't know the company, then, there is a crapshoot, whether it may go up, may go down, and that kind of thing. So coming back to the point that, will we give you sell signals? I think there are some regulatory issues that prevent us from giving an unconditional sell signal. But what we are working on very actively is how we can give you information that will allow you to come to the conclusion whether it's time to sell or not. So I know it's a slightly roundabout answer, so bear with me for now. We are working on something. And as soon as we have it ready, I know, it's very much in demand. I know it's a very useful function, and we will find a way to address this. But what I also don't want to do is to be giving anybody advice on what they should do. Okay, so we don't give personal advice. That is not our thing. And that is a boundary we cannot cross. But we are coming up with something. I think it'll be very, very useful. It won't be that you, Samantha, must now sell Centex. That is something that is a no-go area for us. But this stock at this time is either a buy or a hold or something that, so we are working on something like that. Not coming in the next 4 or 5 weeks, but it is coming soon. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on from signals, we have a few questions. Shikhar, I'm just going to come to your question next because I think it may take a little bit of time. It's a more broader one around hedge funds and InvestorAi, actually, so I'm going to come back to that. But let's just there were 1 or 2 on FTM, Akshay, so I'm just going to read that out very quickly. So Rajesh, it's more of a comment and an ask. He says, once the broker is integrated with the app, when you were talking about the integration, Akshay, Rajesh says, once the broker is integrated with the app, please introduce FTM version for US stocks and especially a portfolio for US ETF.
Yes, very good point, Rajesh. Very much on our radar. And very much on our product roadmap, more importantly. So the way we see broker integration, and again, I'm sharing internal thinking with you. I mean, all of you are, Rajesh in particular is very, very close to us because he's been working with us. He's been using InvestorAi for a while. The way we see this, there are 2-3 levels of integration. Okay. The first integration is buying and selling single stocks. That is the level of integration we have done with Alpaca. Okay. We are also in the process of creating an FTM portfolio for US markets, only US stocks. The second level of integration will be buying multiple stocks or selling multiple stocks with one click. And that is the second level of integration. That is not there at the moment. And that will, again, it's in the roadmap. I can't give you a sense of when it will be available, but it's quite important to us. So, it will get available very soon. The third level of integration is truly exciting, where you can actually, we will give you a bot that you can train yourself. You can say, Mr. Bot, I like energy stocks in US. I like large cap stocks. I like stocks that have minimum volume trading of 10 million a day. I like stocks with drawdown of less than X. I like companies with, PE ratio of Y. You can put your criteria. Okay. And then you could say, Mr. Bot, I'm giving you $10,000. Please don't buy any single stock for more than $1,000. And my profit limit is 6%. And my stop loss is 2%. And the bot will automatically execute trades for you. It will buy, it will sell, it will keep you informed. So, you then get all the power to do what you want. So that is level 3. So as you can see,
please give questions, Prabs.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, Akshay.
Yeah. So I was just about to finish. So there's lots of things coming. Very good suggestions, Rajesh. And again, watch this space.
Thank you, and sorry about that interruption. I was just asking Prabal to see, if we've got more questions. So, Akshay, we've got one where Arun Joshi asks us related to him being a trader on his own and wants to know whether, our signals can be downloaded into a CSV, file, and, so that he could then work on that. So I've said, I just answered on the chat saying, no, not at the moment, but if you want to take that.
No, it's not just not at the moment. The answer is not ever. And not because we don't want to give you this thing. Again, one of the things on our roadmap, and you guys are asking questions that, we're revealing my roadmap to you. One of the things on our roadmap is is trading APIs. So we will have open APIs which will give you our signals and all our intelligence through an API that you can. Now you have to be a little technologically literate to be able to use those APIs. So you will get them in the form of APIs. You will not get them as Excel or CSV. That is our plan.
Okay. Akshay, so Arun actually, I think there's a slight, slightly different question also that he's asking, which is, can InvestorAi generate custom-made signals in real time? And if yes, please give us a demo.
So no. So the way to think about it, I don't actually know what you mean by custom-made signals, but in InvestorAi, you will see signals from each of these algos. So take value investing, for instance. Okay, let me go into value investing. Let me just take the first one that is here, Heidelberg Cement. Now, this is again a very recent signal. Let me pick one that came. Let me sort by returns. So let me take Hindustan Petroleum. Okay. Hindustan Petroleum signal came up on 24th of August. Now, in value investing, we keep it open for 30 days. Now, look at what we are doing here. On 24th August, at 249 rupees, it was on the 7th percentile of its 10-year trading history. Now, look at the chart. There is a little dotted line. That is our threshold. Now, the threshold is 20th percentile. So anything to the left of 20th percentile is undervalued. Anything to the right is not undervalued. Now, why have we chosen 20th percentile? Now, that is a judgment call. Could we make it 25? Yes, we could. Could we make it 30? Yes, we could. Now, if your question is, can you customize it at 22.5% because you think that's the right number? That is not permitted. That we don't have because then you're talking about a very interactive, very custom-made kind of tool. which frankly, with all respect, you're not going to get for 800 rupees a month. That will cost you very, then you're into Bloomberg kind of territory. So it is not intended as a infinitely customizable tool. The important thing is to understand how our algos work. It is important to understand the dotted line is 20th percentile so that you can supplement it with your own research. Okay, I hope that helps.
Okay, Akshay, I'm just going to take Shikhar's question. He wants to know what is the difference between quantitative modeling used by hedge funds and InvestorAi?
Okay, a good question. We use quant modeling also. Okay, so quant modeling is very much part of what we do, and hedge funds also use quant modeling. In our case, in addition to quant modeling, we have machine learning models on top of that create the predictions. Much of quant modeling is not predictive. It is based on what has happened and analyzing patterns. And so it's backward looking analysis. In our case, we have machine learning models that make predictive signals. So we take in the quant information, we take in fundamentals, we take in some of the trends, we look at all the breakout patterns that we have identified, and the composite of all this is shown to you. In fact, some of our hedge fund, we have some people investing in the company in Bridgeweave who are hedge fund managers, and they've said, we are very interested. Can you give these signals to us as APIs? And we will treat this as an additional source of information in order to make our trading decisions. So to answer your question, we do use quant modeling, but that is not all we use. And we make sure that all our signals are predictive in nature.
Akshay, I think we'll do the last two, and I'm taking smaller ones so we can answer quickly because we're already at 1:15. So Pankaj asked a very important one, which is why I'm going to take Pankaj one more question of yours. Says he just downloaded the app right now, and then he looked for Zomato and he couldn't find it. So he wants to know, is there a limited stock options? I mean, do we have only are there some stocks that are not part of our universe? I think that's his question.
So see, Zomato we need at least 1 quarter earnings before we can do anything. That's why Zomato is not there. But if you go to Uber, which listed, what am I saying? Uber. Okay, which went IPO about 6-8 months ago, that is very much there, and you can search for any stock and you can find signals on it. So unless we have at least 1 quarter's data, or preferably 2 quarters data, our models don't work because there is insufficient information. So anything that has gone IPO in the last few months, it is unlikely you will find it. But we are regularly watching, and we keep adding stocks as they go public. So WeWork, which went public yesterday, will not be there for a few months, and then we will add WeWork once we have the right data that we need.
And Akshay, I think also the size of the company, right? Because
we don't cover companies less than $500 million in market cap. So, but Zomato is way ahead. So.
Yeah, no, Samantha was saying, he could not find one of the other companies. So it's also, a certain size of the company, and we keep.
Samantha, what happens is, if the company is too small, then the coverage is not there. The analyst coverage is not there. Some of the other data is not there. So it becomes a little difficult for us then the models don't work so well. So we just have a cutoff at that level.
Okay. Thank you, Akshay. Other than that, I think we had a couple of people asking us how to download and what the name of the app was. Thank you for coming in.
It is there.
Yeah, I know. I just wrote on chat. Please use the QR code. You can download. But we have a very interesting offer, and I'm just going to get that up very fast, Akshay. For all those who are new, we have a 15 days free trial. I think that is the best time for you to really understand the app. There's a lot of messaging that comes in on tips and almost tricks on how to use the app. So please, go ahead, download, get into the free trial. And for all of you who have been using our app and, have either been on a monthly or a quarterly, great time to, maybe upgrade, because we've got a 15% discount running on a monthly as well as quarterly, and we have a 20% running on annual. So this is a big one, and so make the most of it. And a lot of our subscribers here will tell you that you make the subscription annual cost, that you end up paying very quickly. We're not saying it. Subscribers have told us this. So do make the most of this offer. The coupon code is up on your screen, WBNR 32 represents the number of webinars we've actually done so far. So you can also catch all of those recordings. It's up on YouTube, and follow us on our social handles. All this information about us ranking, in the top 8 on small case, and, press releases that go up, lots of coverage that, Akshay has been in the news a lot for InvestorAi. All of that goes up on our social channels. So like, comment, share, and we will be back next week. Our break is not next week. So we will be back next week with a much broader topic so that you understand the stock market. So see you soon. And thank you so much for joining and for all these questions. Bye and have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.